NCAA celebration, coming through. Guy who hadn't earned an allocation, he's going to be in Philadelphia now. What we're going to see, as you talked about, that under the previous rule set, a reversal was worth the same amount as a takedown. You could maybe earn a late reversal to tie the match. Now with the 3-point takedown, that might be something they talk about in the future to see if they want to kind of equate the reversal and the takedown. Some people want to do that. I know some people are opposed to that idea. We'll kind of see what happens.
So now we go to 157 featuring Stanford and Pittsburgh. Dylan Evans for Pittsburgh.
He's taking on Grigor Cholakyan from Stanford.
Cholakyan. There, I'm going to try to get that one right for you guys in the broadcast.
It's a talented freshman for them out of California.
I kind of like saying it, Cholakyan.
Yeah, I'm not a professional at this by any means, so I'm going to do my best.
He's a guy like Jacob Kasper who's not afraid to go for throws. So we potentially could see some fireworks with him on the mat.
Who doesn't love a good throw?
Love it. There's been a lot of level changing. We're high, low, and everywhere in between middle-level attacks here, so. Yeah, Dean, I throw people for a living now. What do you think? Post-tournament, maybe I can give you a throw, maybe a suplex. What do you think?
I don't want to be the guy that takes you out just by you having to lift this fat, large mass.
Oh, I don't believe that for a second. Cholakyan for some position here. That double collar tie, weighing heavy on the neck.
Cholakyan's been really stalking forward. Evans been trying to post with that left hand, and Cholakyan keeps kind of posting it off himself, so little positional battles here.
Yeah, and Evans actually beat Cholakyan twice in the year, and I know that sounds like that should be a locked-in for Evans, but for some reason the sport of wrestling works in threes, and often it's most difficult to beat the opponent the third time. We saw it again. We're on mat 1 right now. Mike Macchiavello's on the call. He actually had lost to Jared Hott twice previously in the year, once in the duel, once for the ACC Championship, and then avenged those losses in the NCAA final to become national champ that year.
Wow, what a great example. Michael Macchiavello over on mat 1. Rhino and Mr. Kasper on mat 2. The superstars are out for the ACC Wrestling Championships here at Cameron Indoor.
Jared Hott wasn't able to play those horse noises for his intro at the national finals. We threw him off a little bit. And Michael Macchiavello avenged those losses and came away the national champion.
I think I see Coach Lamb, the longtime coach at UNC, over there across the way as well.
Looks like it.
A lot of legendary coaches through the years of the ACC.
Yeah, celebrating a lot of ACC wrestling here today.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got to be proud of what it's grown into and what it's continuing to become.
A lot of jockeying for hand position here as Cholakyan drives in for an underhook.
Yeah, do you think that the mat wrestling is going to be the difference in this one then?
I think we could see that with Evans.
Evans, a Pennsylvania guy. Pennsylvania is historically known to be very, very good on top. And then, Cholakyan is a California guy where maybe not quite as much so.
Yeah, freshman. First time wrestling in college conference tournaments. So we'll see if that plays a role.
Do want to remind you that at 157, just 3 AQs coming out of the ACC. So not only do you need to win this one, you need to win the 3rd place match. That'll be coming a little bit later here on ACC Network Extra, leading up to the 8 o'clock tilt on linear on ACC Network, with the fanfare of Cameron Indoor and the fanfare of winning an ACC title and even a team title. 3 teams finished at 5-1 as NC State, Virginia Tech, and the Tar Heels earning a share of the regular season title.
It's been tough sledding for the Tar Heels today so far, sitting in 6th place in the team score. That's not where they expected to be.
Not at all.
After holding that, regular season ACC championship.
Yeah, I think it's, damage control at this point for UNC as well. It's about getting as many guys to the tournaments to score points as you can. Now, you see it, every couple of years here. You'll have a team win the ACC, but then another team will outperform them at nationals, or vice versa. Maybe you'll lose at ACCs, but then you'll have a team that outperforms another team or a couple at nationals, because, the ACC championship's a goal, the national championship's a goal, and you want to get as many guys through this tournament as you can.
More blood. That's going to allow me to ask you another question, Jacob. And remind me, when you and the Fine Silvers were going, was it just the 5 of you, or was there ever 6 that went to the NCAAs?
Well, my sophomore year, we had 5 with 1 Fine Silver. We had Mitch Fine Silver at 133. We had Marcus Kane at 149. We had Emmanuel Kerr Brown at 157. We had me at 184, and we had Connor Hartman at 197. And then my junior year would be the year that we took 3 with Jake Faust and Connor Bass and myself. And then my senior year is when we had 4 Fine Silvers in addition to me. So, yeah, we had 5 that year. I don't think Duke has ever had 6 guys, but I'm sure that's something Glenn Lanham and staff are currently, working on.
Well, it was a big statement, though, to bring 5 to the NCAAs, and I think said a lot about the fact that we were not that far removed. And I feel like people need to remember that during your time, and Duke was legit, right? Sending 5 a couple of times to the NCAAs, that means something.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was a great run for the program, and there was the expectation to have, an All-American, and had a nice All-American streak, and Duke is looking to push getting back into that kind of light within the ACC, and hopefully they continue to develop guys, and we see more of representation for the program.
We have Evans up by 1 here, but yeah, to elaborate on what Dylan was saying, there was a time where that 5 with an All-American and another guy in the round of 12 was a disappointment. We wanted national titles. We wanted All-Americans. We wanted everything. We thought we could get more than 5 out. And sometimes, you take a step back as a team culture-wise and stuff, and unfortunately that kind of happened around the COVID era at Duke here. But, it's something that I know Coach Lanham and I have talked about that they're working diligently on getting back to, and, back to winning ways, because Duke's a sleeping giant if all the pieces can fall in the right order.
Jacob Casper, Rhino, Dean Linke with you here. Mat 2 coverage, 157, where they've got 3 AQs. And it's just a 1-0 score right now, with Evans from Pitt on top of Stanford here. Cholokian.
A lot of start-stop here. That to ride someone for only 3 seconds, you would have liked to see a little bit more riding time there, because, as choice goes back to the other side, if Cholokian does choose down, now Evans can just ride for a minute in 3 seconds or 4 seconds, and then allow the escape and still be in the lead effectively. So you would have liked to see Cholokian ride a little bit more stingy and a little bit more diligently, just to make that a little bit more difficult on Evans. But we'll see how it all factors in. It might be a non-factor at all.
Exactly. Thinking about building a match, what you need to do to win, because it completely changes the dynamic of the third period if we go into that 1-0. Cholokian continues to bleed. We may be close to face wrap territory here if they can't get this thing stopped.
Yeah, back to the rules argument, or the scoring argument, Rhino, to circle back to that, I would say that I enjoy the new rule set as they currently stand for matches, similar to like Nick Wisdowski, Kyle Snyder, where you had 2 takedowns in regulation versus one takedown in regulation that forced overtime, and then a guy got an opportunity to get that second takedown. So I like the difference in points, similar to the freestyle score set, where it's a 2-point difference from takedown to effectively escape, and then 1-point difference in takedown to reversal.
I think we'll have to see kind of some of the data come out, and obviously it's changed kind of the degree of bonus points we see. the one aspect that has been a bit of a downside at times is you have that extra stall to burn with a 3-point lead, with the 3-point takedown. And we've seen some of that play out in certain matches, but I think the majority of the people have found that it's been beneficial to their viewing experience so far, and I think it's probably something that's here to stay, given high school, they're using the 3-point takedown now as well.
We are focused on Evans here and Cholakyan, but just a little bit of break in action as we continue to have blood time. And yeah, I would further say too, I think if you could get back to a traditional stall call where if a guy steps backwards off the start of the line or is going backwards, that's where you could maybe make up for that stall call. I also saw Nick Wisdowski recently tweet out that he'd be in favor of a 10-point major and 20-point tech fall then. I don't know entirely how I feel about that, but those are all good ideas that seem to be considered, and as our rule committee continues to try to evolve and grow the sport.
Absolutely. Great job by our production team to show the scoring here. As the rules have changed over the past few years, with the takedown, changes in near fall. I do agree. I've liked the change in near fall to emphasize some of the mat wrestling. If you can get, turns, given that the goal is to pin your opponent, that should really be valuable. And I feel like our buddy Max Roshkoff would have liked that rule set back in the day if he could have gotten 4-point near falls, through his career.
Absolutely.
We've just eclipsed 200 name drops here at Mat 2.
There you go.
Halfway there.
Yeah, the whole consortium is getting named here, all the guys from, 10 years ago. But we did see them tape around the nose of Cholakyan, the full kind of face wrap over the nose, which is very uncomfortable to wrestle in, especially impacts your breathing. So we'll see how he deals with that.
And here we're getting to that situation that we talked about. Now Evans has the opportunity just to ride for 1 minute and 4 seconds, roughly, and to effectively have another point on the board here, which is why we would have liked to see Cholakyan ride a little bit tougher in the second period there.
Goes for a nice Granby with a cartwheel there, and we're out of bounds.
Sometimes when someone's as erratic and unpredictable as Cholakyan is too, you kind of just give them a little bit of space to work, and sometimes it's better to just cut free and get back to a familiar position.
Goes Granby, another roll, and he's out.
See,
that's exactly what happened. Good call. He said, I'm going to cut you free. I'm not going to mess around here. Let's decide it on our feet.
So with that, we are tied with 139 remaining. 1-1. The 3 seed from Pitt, the 5 seed from Stanford.
Had a lot of these matches today on Mat 2, these 1-1 late finishes. Good single leg by Evans. Cholakyan feeding him some hips, trying to attack the hands and get his foot on the mat. Went to go for a Barzagar finish, didn't get it. Leg pass by Cholakyan, more scrambling. It's going to be a stalemate here.
Yeah, I would say typically a more traditional style like Evans, it actually favors him to have had multiple times, feeling Cholakyan's style throughout the year, but it doesn't quite seem to be the case here. It seems like Cholakyan, although a little bit more erratic in movement, he's made some adjustments to be able to keep this one close here.
Yeah, and Evans has kind of tightened up a little bit, it seems like.
That start-stop where you don't get to find your rhythm and your tempo from all the blood time can do that to you too.
Absolutely. Cholakyan keeps asking for a hands to the face.
Dylan Evans came into the ACC tournament red hot, winning his final 5 duels.
He holds a win over now finalist in this weight class, Rafael Hippolito of Virginia Tech.
Overtime win, right?
Yeah, there was expectations for him coming in that they thought he could be a guy who wins this tournament. That's going to be an upset win for Lennox Wolak of Virginia Tech on Mat 1 over Lorenzo Norman.
As we go to overtime here.
overtime, as you said.
Next point on the board will dictate a winner.
Good shot by Evans. Cholakyan sits the corner. That's Cholakyan still got his hips up.
Wow, what a unique situation.
He's going to have to roll under here. And that's going to be danger.
There it is.
He's going to pin him. And as I say that, Cholakyan gets off his back.
Cannot predict what he'll do next. That's what I've learned.
Good win for Dylan Evans as he moves on to the third place match.
All right, we're going to take a break and be back with more of the consolation matches as wrestlers try to punch their ticket to Philadelphia. Stay with us on ACC Network Extra.